Alright, so what's good, people? Today we're going to talk about the lemifshe Marquez Precision Knives clone or counterfeit, however you want to call it. It's 7.5 inches opened up. It's 4.6 ounces in overall weight. The blade stock is a little thicker on the thicker side. I'm going to show you. Was that 156 thousandths? And then behind the edge, I think it was 15 thousandths is what I measured it at. Yep, 15. And that's like right behind edge termination. 15, and it's like that, 15, 16. I might have just bumped it kind of hard and fucked it up, but it's pretty much 15 to 16 all the way down through here, 20 out on here because it gets thicker out towards the tip. It's a hollow grind, and it's a nice hollow grind, and it's super slicey, even though the blade stock is on the thicker side. And then the plunge grind is done exceptionally well. So you can see we're right here is where our plunge ends. And then so we got all that life. And so then you can see just how nice and thin the material that you're going to remove right there. So you're not worrying about it widening up at all down through there. And then the action on this thing is pretty phenomenal. Out of the box, it sounded even better, especially on the open. But I took it apart, lubed everything up, and I actually moved the detent over, or the lock bar over, to give it a little bit stronger detent. I mean, I barely moved it, but doing that lost a little bit of the sound on the opening, but I gained a lot on the close. And then it's not completely drop shut. You do have to shake it home a little bit. And that's where I have to have this one to not have any blade play left or right. Other than that, its lockup is great. Lock bar access is wonderful because they cut both of these out, and the blade stock is, on the thicker side. So it makes, even though it's not cut out from the side, it's super easy to get your thumb in there and disengage it. And then you can see this part of the tang right here, which is actually what wraps up and around the stop pin, hits your nail every time. Now you do have to be careful because that's a thicker, little bit of a pointier side, so it bumping into your nail will kind of start to mark it up, as you can see, and cause some wear on there if you're not careful. But if you want to, you can just disengage it, move it out of the way, because let's see, where is it? Right there. It's our detent. So right there, and then we're over it. Right there. So it is super early. Super early. And again, all of this is stolen design. So the person that designed this obviously spent a lot of time getting this right. I'm pretty sure they even copied the plunge and all of this as far as like where the finger choil is, or what's acting as the finger choil pretty much. The fact that it's not contoured, but it's heavily chamfered on both sides to give it that almost contoured feel in hand. The lock bar access, the way this cutout is done. They even mimic the sound because his have the sound. And so they even went out of their way to mimic the sound. That's crazy to me. But they did, and it sounded even better out of the box. The clip works a treat. I don't feel this bill, even though it's up pretty high, because this clip is so far forward. It lands like right in the meat of my hand right here, and I just don't feel it. Even bearing down super hard, I don't feel it. But because of that, like this thing's, you've got that much showing up out of your pocket to the end of my nail right there. So basically like that, sticking out of your pocket. It's like really the only negative I have about the knife, other than the blade stock being kind of thick. But I mean, it's still kind of nice though, because you don't have to worry about the tip. You know what I mean? And then because it's a hollow grind and it's done so well, it still slices really good. And a lot of times, like when a hollow grind is done on a cheaper company, on a cheaper knife, they don't get it right. Or what I mean is, like, when it's this thin, when it gets down this thin, you end up running into problems. So, like, this is a Tucson. This has an aggressively thin hollow ground. Now, this thing's crazy thin. It's 14 thousandths back here, and it stays 14 thousandths way, way up on this thing. Like, I can go way, way up here. Okay, 12.5. Even. But look at how high up I am on that. That's insane, you know? But because they did that, you can see it. There's like a wonky spot in it if I hit the light just right on it. And you can feel it running your hands over it. And that's not the first time on a hollow ground on it with a cheaper company that I've been able to feel the hollow ground where it just got wonky, you know? Damn, somebody trying to call me. Let me pause it. Damn, I didn't even pause it. Whoops. Like it mattered. It was a fucking spam call anyway. So sorry about that. You had to sit with me for a second while I did that. But this thing's just, it's so good, man. It's so good for 75. I think it was 75 or $85. I think it was 85 actually. God dang, man. Come on. Freaking spam calls. Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. Any of y'all be getting spam calls 30 fucking times a day? Shit, it's so annoying. Anyways, yeah, it's a great knife. You can easily slow roll it out. You can reverse flick it, no problem. Using your nail, not having to do the push off. You can thumb flick it. Great, you know. And I added, like I said, I added just a tiny bit of tension to the lock bar, but even out of the box, it was really good. Now, don't get me wrong, you can fail it. Not like that. But you have to try to fail it. You know what I mean? It's just like any knife. I can fail any knife. I don't care how good the detent is on it. If I want to fail it, I can fail it. You know what I mean? This has an amazing detent. And I can still fail it. You know? But there's no reason I should, you know, if you give it any kind of go, it's going. And this is the Vosteed Raccoon top liner lock. If you know, you know. This thing has an amazing detent. You know? But yeah, it's super satisfying. It was satisfying right out of the box, but I wanted it to be a little stronger. And so you can see we're not even at 50. You know, we're at like 35%. And I would say when I got it, it was at, you know, it might only be at 30. And it might, I don't even know that I moved it, if I'm being honest with you. I did all that work taking it apart, fucking with it, losing the sound. And I don't even know that I strengthened it up that much. If I did, it was just barely, you know. And I think if I took it apart again and messed around with it again, I could get the sound back like it was on the original. I don't know what's making that sound on it. Because it's, sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. You know? I honestly think it's from where you have to be off and away from this, and I can't be touching the back spacer. It's just super delicate as far as like when you get the sound, when you don't. But like I said, out of the box, it was way better. And like I said, I think I could get it back like that if I tried really hard, you know. But this thing is just a phenomenal looking knife. I hate that it's a clone, but at the same time, I could never afford the real one. I don't even know how you even go about buying the real ones. I think he does like silent auctions on them, and highest bidder takes them. They're probably going for thousands of dollars if I had to guess. But yeah, you know, this thing is almost identical in size to the top liner lock Raccoon. It's pretty much a perfect size comparison, if you ask me. If anybody was wondering. But yeah, this thing's just, the fit and finish on it, So, just like, you know, this is lemifshe. This is lemifshe. This is lemifshe. All of these two are clones. This one's clone. This one's an original, from what I can tell. And all of these, the build quality on them is as good as Best Tech. It's as good as Riot. And that's not me just shooting shit, just trying to make myself feel better about the quality of the knife that I bought or something. That is honestly, if you had this in hand, I would dare you to say that this thing felt, as far as the feel of it in hand and how good the action is on it. It even comes with basically skiff bearings in it. It comes with better bearings than what freaking, you know, Best Tech or Riot are using. They're fully caged, you know, fully caged brass or bronze. I'm not sure which one they are, but they're fully caged. They're amazing bearings. They're great bearings. They even went out of their way to mimic the sound, because the original one makes this crazy tinging noise, and the ting is not, it's not like it is on like the McNeese one where it's the stock, the blade stock's making it happen. It's not like it is on this one where it has a tuning board inside. It's all literally them tuning this specifically to get this sound out of it. I mean, that's some commitment to making a clone right there. And do I think this is on the same level as Greenthorn, which in my opinion makes the top of the line clones? As far as what I've handled, they're maybe better. I don't know, you know. But from what I've handled, Greenthorns are just insane, you know. But in my opinion, this knife is of the same build quality as this. The only thing you're lacking is the steel. This is D2, but D2, when it's heated properly, which this is, they show it on there at 61, or maybe it's 60.8. Like, and I've used this knife, and it feels like it has a sufficient heat treat on it, and D2 is a great steel when it's heat treated properly. And not to mention this stonewash finish that they did on here looks so good in real life. Even here on the camera, it looks better than, you know, the majority of stonewash finishes I get on production knives. You know, dang, I'd have to sit here and rummage around trying to find something that has a stonewash finish. This is the Asher Spiro. You know, this is petrified fish, I believe. And this stonewash is okay, but it's not this. You know what I mean? This is almost like it was polished and then stonewashed. Especially when you see it in real life. It looks so good. But you can really see the blade stock difference with these two. You know what I mean? It's damn near double the blade stock. But this is a really good fucking slicer right here. But this thing, because of the hollow grind, like I said, it slices so good. And like I said, the action on it is phenomenal. And if you try to tune it to have it just like fall shut on its own, you get blade play. Or at least I do on mine. As long as I have it tightened to where I've got it right now, I don't have the blade play issue. And it's like a barely even a shake shut. I mean, you see it. It wants to fall to there. And then I just a couple of little shakes. It's so good. It's so good. It's hard to believe it's only $85. It's just like it was hard to believe. Where'd I put it? What the fuck did I do with it? There it is. Just like it was hard to believe this was only $70. I think I got this on sale for $70. Taxes, shipping, everything. $70. Like, it's just crazy to me what I can get for the money when it's a clone. When it's a clone. The only other knives I have that I can come close to getting like this type of build quality, and even then they're not as good, are like Two Sons. you know, and these are still more expensive. Granted, this is using M390 steel, but you know, it's not, the machining isn't done as well. Take away the design aspect because they didn't come up with this design, but the machining on this, it's contoured. Look at these milled lines on this thing. Look at the internal milling. Same way on this guy. You know, you look at the machining on it, it's flawless. It's got a floating back spacer because of the washers in between it on both sides. The pocket clip is blind milled screwed from the inside out. It's got the nice pivot collars. It's got the great looking stonewash finish on it. Great lock bar access. Again, it's like all that stolen design, but they still implemented it great. You know, this milled out section here, it's done phenomenal. It's not sharp. None of this is sharp. This is, in my opinion, a big step up. Lemifshe stuff is a big step up from Jaful. I like Jaful stuff. Don't get me wrong. This is a phenomenal knife. But it has super sharp areas. You know, the action is not near as good. They're not fully caged bearings that come with it. It does come with an amazing edge, and the stonewash finish on this is still really good too. It's not quite as good as this one, but it's still really good. You know, don't get me wrong, this is a phenomenal knife, you know, or a phenomenal clone, however you want to look at it. But this is on another level, in my opinion. It's just better. You know, just like this was fucking crazy for the price I paid for this. You know, aside from being super thick blade stock, which, let's see, is this as thick? No, it's thinner. By a good margin. And then this has the hollow grind on it. It's just so well done, man. It's so well done. I'm just super happy I picked it up, and I'm honestly thinking about picking up the drop point version. I wish I'd have done it before these stupid tariffs hit, because now that the tariffs are here, I'm probably gonna, I don't know how the fuck that's gonna work with shit you're getting off AliExpress, but I don't know. I guess we'll see if it ends up like VAT, like the way that the EU does it. But anyways, this video has been long enough. Hope y'all are having a good one. Take it easy.